princesses! Today I'm going to be talking about the Etude House Play Colour Eyes in Tulip Day. I picked this up because it looked really cute. It's got the cute pink packaging. It's even got, you probably can't see it very well, but it's actually got like little tulips on the front. It's just, yeah, it's adorable. The colours looked really nice. I was not 100% sure about that middle shade, but the colours around the outside were definitely looking like they were my cup of tea, so I was kind of like, I'll give that a go. As I do with eyeshadows, where I pick them up and I'm like, this is so pretty, and then I put it on my eyes and I'm like, I'm never going to wear this in my life because I only wear brown. At the moment I am not wearing the Tulip palette, I am wearing another Etude House one, which is the Etude House Heart Blossom collection, and there will be a get ready with me with most of the Heart Blossom collection stuff in it that I picked up. My fringe is so crooked and so much on my eyes on that side, I need to go cut it. I will do that shortly. But yes, that is not the Tulip Day palette, although it is very pretty. It is the this one, which is also very nice. So for this palette, it doesn't really have a product description. What I can get from Etude House's website is the romantic 9-colour palette resembling a tulip-lined path under the sunshine, which is very sweet and tells me absolutely nothing. Luckily for me, this one does have the colours on the back, which I only just noticed, which is terrible. You've got Morning of Tulip, Tulip in the Afternoon, Vintage Tulip, One Tulip, Tulip Festival, Say It To Me, Tulip Road, Eternal Love, and Pine Cone. So the packaging of this product, like I've already told you, is really cute. I like the pink colour. I especially like the pink like tulip designs on the front, and then you have the 9-colour eyeshadows in the centre. Doesn't come with anything excess, so there's no mirror, there's no brushes or anything like that, which I kind of like and I kind of don't like. I do like a mirror in my eyeshadow palettes, but it would kind of ruin this sort of aesthetic of having the colours shine through with the tulip stuff on the front, so kind of don't mind that. There are 9 colours in the collection, and they are ranging from warm toned browns to pinks, and then the centre colour, which is like a very corally glitter thing, which I don't particularly love, but that's okay. First shade is actually a really nice shimmery beige. You can't really see a huge amount, but it would look really lovely as a really subtle inner corner highlight. The second shade is the most beautiful rosy gold. I think it's probably the most true rose gold I've ever seen, but it's not too intense. It's not like a glitter, and it's not super pigmented and bright, but it is a really nice subtle shade. The top bright brown is a really beautiful subtle shimmery colour. I really like this one all over the lid, and then it's a little bit in the outer corner as well. This is a really nice colour. In the second row on the left hand side, we've got a really lovely subtle pink shimmer. There's a lot of subtlety in this palette so far. This one is a really beautiful pink. It's got a light shimmer running throughout, and it's not very pigmented. I particularly like that, but I know a lot of people will not. The very middle shade is a peach with a gold glitter. It's kind of like the glitter is more like a shimmer, and the peach colorant is not very pigmented. I don't particularly love this shade. I'm not really that into the peaches, but it is a nice addition to the palette. And then the rightmost glitter in the middle line is the most beautiful beige glitter. This one applies terribly with a brush. Definitely use your fingers, but it does have the most beautiful payoff. It's probably one of my favorite glitters I've tried in a while, I have to say. The bottom left colour is a really nice chocolatey matte brown. This one may look like it has a bit of shimmer in it on my eye because of previous swatches, and it looks terribly blended. I would never use this one by itself. I would use it basically to darken up the outer third of my eyelid, and so it is very handy that it is there. It's a nice brown that goes with everything in the palette, and it's easy to use. The middle shade on the lower row is another beautiful shimmery colour. This one is kind of like more of the glittery shimmer rather than anything else, and it's a brown colour. And then the last shade in the palette is another matte brown. This one is more of a mid-toned, and it's kind of more like a caramel brown colour. I use this one in the crease, and it does work pretty well. It doesn't work that well with some of the more pinky colours though, but I still think that it is worthwhile having in the palette. So for this look I used Pine Cone all through the crease, and then I used Vintage Tulip on the outer third or outer half of the eye, and Say It To Me on the inner third or inner half. They kind of blend together in the middle, which is why I say a third or a half. I don't particularly like this look. I feel like the matte and the shimmers didn't really go well together, but it's okay. So for this look I used the Pine Cone through the crease because that is pretty much the only brown and neutral in there that I can use. And then I really wanted to use that beautiful rose gold, which is Tulip in the Afternoon. So I put that on the inner half of my eyelid, and then I also used another sparkly brown. I said shimmery and sparkly at the same time. and that is Eternal Love, and I use that in the outer third of my eyelid. I didn't really want to put two shimmers on at the same time, but I thought that the dark in the other corner was going to be too dark. That would be Tulip Road for the day, so I decided to go with that one. I don't mind this look at all. I think it is very pretty. I am in love with that rose gold shade, but it's probably not the most amazing thing I've ever done. So I actually quite like this palette, although I don't think that it's going to be part of the permanent collection. Like you guys know, I have a very, what is the word, like I think people use the word curated these days. I just use the word very particular. I don't keep everything that I review, and it's very hard for me to actually keep something. Like I really, really have to love it, because at the moment the space that I have is very limited, and I don't want to keep excess stuff because one, I don't have the space for it, and two, it's just going to expire if I don't use it. How sad is that? Like, it's just, no, it's a bit silly. So I do think that there are definite pluses for this palette. I think that there are some gorgeous eye looks that you can do with it, but I don't think it's that unique. There are definitely some colors that I think are just stunning though. So like the brown sparkle, that brown, that pinky like rose gold in the middle. Oh, that's beautiful. I even like these two. Actually, I like all of them, which is mildly problematic, but I just don't think that it's unique enough that it is something that I don't have in my collection. I'm going to use it for a few more weeks because I have been a little bit overwhelmed with eyeshadow palettes lately. I've been gifted quite a lot of them, and then I try to only have one shadow palette per month because I don't wear eyeshadow very much, so to do multiple palettes in a month is quite a lot of pressure for me because I just don't naturally use them, and so it feels very forced. And when it feels forced, I feel like I don't want to keep things. And so I do definitely want to give this one a fair go. So although I don't think I'm going to keep it in the collection, I will try a couple more weeks and see. But back to some less sort of biased opinions of stuff. I think that it is a really nicely set out palette. I think that the inclusion of that very orangey orange is slightly out. I mean, the other two pinks that you've got there, they are sort of peachy pinks, but they're not quite as orange as that one, so it does stand out a little bit. But I do like the inclusion of the two matte colors down here. That's what I particularly like about this. The matte doesn't go with the other pinks really, but it does go really nicely with the outside browns, and I like that in the palette. I also like that it has the matte brown on the other corner because that helps me to darken up any of the other colors if I want to, or just the outer third. So I think that it's a really well thought out palette and it works really well. There are a lot of colors that are very sheer, so if you don't like very sheer products that you want to build up that give you that like very natural look, you probably won't like this. Like, it's not a palette I'd recommend to Jeffree Star. I keep seeing him review Kbeauty palettes, like it's always the chocolate ones, right? And every time he's like, there's no pigment, it's so sheer, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of supposed to be like, that's what's in, that's the trend. It's not a Western product, it's a Kbeauty product. Yeah, but you know, if you like that kind of thing, then I recommend this because it's like the sheer wash of colors, the beautiful glitters. That's what I like about Kbeauty eyeshadow palettes, and that's why I gravitate towards those. I don't have, oh, I've got two Western Beauty eyeshadow palettes, three. I've got the two Naked palettes, and I've got a MAC palette, which is just like a neutrals palette, just got 6 shades. But even that at the moment, like I'm kind of looking at it, it's the Cinderella palette, and I'm thinking, I haven't used it in a while because I have been using my Kbeauty ones a lot more. So there is that. However, I think I've gone way off track. I really like the palette, but I don't know if it's going to be part of the permanent collection. However, if you like the look of the colours, it is one I'd recommend if you like Kbeauty style eyeshadows that are a bit more sheer, not so pigment packed, because that is the type of gist that it gives. It's really pretty. I really like it. So thank you guys so much for watching this review, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!